He had never spoken to my lawyer, met my lawyer, heard her name, anything at all. This is also one of those things I find really weird that gets focused on. To me, this is similar to sleepers. It's just a
I
weird. It's just a
disagree.
weird. It's just a weird thing. Like,
I
no, I'm
disagree
saying
wholeheartedly.
it's a weird thing to like lie about. Like
Okay. Well, I
we
actually
didn't
do agree
we.
with that. I think it's a weird thing to lie about because I just, again, stated in the past that I think you would be better with separate representation. And it seems like y'all understood that or maybe didn't. And he didn't have a lawyer. So he was introduced to your lawyer. You guys, listen, if it's so easy, throw it into Reddit. You know, you say you got JPEGs you could give to Danny. I say do it. Correct the record. Correct the record.
Okay.
I want to ask about it, man. Therapy sessions with Joe Budden. Let's wake it up. Joe has referenced that a lot, hinted that you use therapy to manipulate the situation. How bad it was that? How? Because to me, that's something he brings up so many times, and I quite honestly, I don't know why y'all went to therapy together, but but can you shed light on that?
Uh, I never heard the clip where he said I manipulated therapy, but it does not surprise me that he would say that. It was his idea, so I guess, damn, I'm that good that I manipulated something that was his idea. And I was fine with it. We definitely had Joe and I are both big therapy advocates, and I understand that it looks funny. Like I would probably clown us too of like two friends on a podcast going to therapy to resolve issues. I was fine with the jokes, but I was fully on board. I thought it was a good strategy because clearly we were at a standstill. We had one session at his crib that didn't go the greatest, and then we had one. I think it was the day. I think that's how I found out DMX died. We had one on Zoom when I was in LA, and that didn't go very far. Just I think I was in a hotel lobby. Like it just wasn't a place to even really do therapy. But yeah, we had one session in his crib. Um, and yeah, like I fully said, I was the main advocate trying to solve the issues that were happening. So I don't really know how I could manipulate therapy. I was trying to get to the goal of us going back to the podcast. I didn't want to leave the podcast. I've been very clear in my story the entire time. I was trying to put this back together. And if it took a therapy session, I'm down. Did that fully answer your question?
I,
Yeah,
I
Rory. Towards the end of the pod, Joe mentioned a couple of times that he felt like you guys were lazy. You guys weren't promoting the Patreon towards the end. He's saying that.
Speaking for me, another bold faced lie.
okay.
So you, so you did. So you did.
There was never a time I did not tweet out our podcast. Never once.
I think Maul was doing it.
I'm fully confident. I'm speaking for me and me only.
No, I'm just saying. I
I'm
think I agree with
100%
you.
confident. There's never been a time where I was not promoting that podcast.
I agree. I think Maul
It's
was.
it's another weird lie to me that people focus on.
Was the issue promoting the podcast or promoting the Patreon? The
Patreon too.
the the the
The
moves to
episodes. I
Patreon.
mean, of course, when things split, I didn't promote it. Like, should I be retweeting Joe's Patreon now? Like, I'm confused.
You mean when
And
Ice and Ish first joined, like when they were trying to figure things out? That's what you mean?
are you asking me that or asking?
No, because you said you wasn't promoting it when you split. Are you talking about the initial time you were gone for like a month? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I probably did not, and maybe that is what Joe is speaking to, and he just wasn't clear in that. No, I don't think I retweeted the podcast when Joe said, "Hey, let's all take a break." This was his words. Admittedly, he said, "I know you guys tend to forget the things he admits." That it was his idea to take a break. Yeah, I probably didn't retweet at that time, but before then, there was never a time that I was not promoting that fucking podcast. When things went to shit, yeah, maybe I didn't hit the retweet button. I think that's a fair thing to do as a person.
Okay.
But to make this narrative that I was never promoting the podcast or the Patreon like this, that's another way to spin, y'all. And and
Go
to
ahead, my bad.
avoid actual facts.
Joe also said that he felt like you guys were like becoming very lazy towards the end. That you guys didn't want to work, like produce content. Can you address that?
I went to Joe once we found out about this Patreon thing on fucking live. I said to him, hey, I'm heavy on Patreon because I love stand-up comedy, History of Hyenas, like there was a bunch of Patreons that I was subscribed to, so I understood the platform. And I said to him, hey, I can like kind of run point on certain stuff. I brought him an idea of doing like a morning show, like live at 9 a.m. and we could rotate it. Like it doesn't have to just be you. Like one day it could be me and fucking Savon, or it could just be Parks and Mall. Like I came with a bunch of Patreon ideas at that time. I was, despite feeling weird about finding all of that out on air and then Ian just giving me some weird explanation when I just flat out asked him, not in a confrontational way, just a way of me trying to get my ducks in a row. Like, hey, is this Patreon thing a Joe Budden thing or a Joe Budden podcast thing? And then once me asking a innocent question led to Joe calling me the next day screaming out of his mind, which again was a huge red flag to me because I just asked a simple question. But no, I came ready to do Patreon. I was never late. Like that's another weird narrative to me. I was, yes, there was tension towards the end, but as far as my work ethic, I never checked out. Even on the episode that we all came back, that was probably a bad idea in retrospect. I was trying my fucking best on that. That should speak to everything. In a time when nothing was good, I was trying my best to make that work, coming prepared, ready to talk. It's just another weird lie.
Was there
You
any
guys
objection
do
to
know
the
podcasts
number?
are recorded, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Was there any objection to the number of Patreons he was asking for?
What do you mean?
Like if he was asking for 2 Patreons a week on top of the 2 regular episodes. I'm just throwing those numbers out there, but
Never on my end for anything. I was there to record any day people needed me. Never once complained about a schedule. Never complained too many episodes. On my daughter's life, that's the weirdest lie. I was always ready to work, excited to work. Did I have some understandable, calm questions behind the scenes about things we agreed upon in a contract? Of course. But to start this whole I destroyed everything behind the scenes, manipulated people, was late to work, complained about it. That is there's no 3 sides to that story. That's a bold-faced lie.
I remember you saying that things started to really get left with you and Joe when he started to allude to whatever was happening in your family life or something. Is that the case? You said that on the video.
It had something to do with that for sure. But in retrospect, I may have been feeling a little sensitive at the time, and I would be a liar to say if I never did that to Joe. I think he went over the line on certain stuff at times, and I was in the middle of that in real time, so I was probably taking it a little bit more personal than I should have. But we also did that to Joe. So I don't feel a way about that anymore because I think it's an even playing field in that regard. And it was things that y'all wouldn't even catch. And I think that's why I took it so personal. It wasn't even for content. It would just be certain comments on air about things that were currently happening in my personal life that only he and a few other people knew. I was like, all right, whatever. But I admittedly did that to some degree as well. So I don't really have a viewpoint on that one anymore outside of I was probably in my feelings dealing with something in real time. I've also actively done that to not just Joe, but other people on the podcast as well. So something we were all guilty of.
It's funny because Flip said that Joe be doing that. No shots, Joe. There's tons of people asking me to bring Joe up. I'm sorry. No,
cool.
No, I can't. Stop asking me. Stop DMing me. It's not gonna happen.
I got a question, Rory. So towards the end of the podcast, is there anything that you was doing that you wish you had done differently? Because towards the end, you and Joe was getting pretty heated arguments
Called
on
them
the
peppers.
pod. Yeah, so like anything
That was
you
funny
wish
though.
you
That
would
was
done,
funny. That was funny.
The
like
cup
anything you wish
the
you
cupcake
like.
comment that was I remember
No,
that.
no,
That
like
looked like
anything you wish you would have done different, like play the contract out, like anything wish you'd done differently.
Of course, there's a lot of stuff I would have done differently throughout the whole thing. I feel comfortable knowing where, like, this sounds corny, but like where my heart was at with it. I probably made some mistakes within trying to navigate that month, kind of as a middleman between the three of us. But I don't really regret it because I know my intentions were very pure and very much for the three of us to continue on as a pod. So yeah, of course, there's things I would change, but I do feel good knowing that, like, that was really out of love for everyone. Like, I really wanted to see this thing continue on.
Did
But
his relationship
in
with
retrospect,
Ak
I think
affect your decision?
no. I know you guys probably won't believe this, and you have every right not to. Academics had absolutely nothing to do with our breakup.
I've always thought that.
Nothing whatsoever. Was
Rory,
there
Ak,
fucking
he
back and forth
predicted it.
shots? That's cool. Ak is good at getting on stream and predicting shit. Like,
Did he make it easier to hate Joe though?
did Ak make it easier for me to hate Joe?
Yeah, like
Is that your
with
question?
them being on his side, did it make it easier to be like, you know what, you already with, bro? I'm just going to step to the side.
Not really, because I didn't take a lot of that seriously at that time. Like, yeah, we laughed at that shit in the beginning. Of course, things changed a bit, but yeah, it wasn't as big of a thing to us as it probably was to y'all. Like, I didn't view academics as like a threat. I thought it was like silly, funny content. Like, yeah, and Joe and I had a relationship that was like, academics wasn't involved. We had a real relationship outside of the pod and on the pod. I wouldn't really care about what his other coworker was doing. That was content at the time too. Like, I know now we have cool catchphrases about content, but we fully understood what content was at that time as well, where people exaggerate things, lie about things to create fun, entertaining narratives. That's how I looked at it at that time. So I didn't feel a way towards Joe. I think some people could rightfully so feel a way, like, hey, that's your man, and he's on the internet talking insane about. But I really didn't take that as personal as you guys may think I did.
So none of the Ak stuff was personal because he was going personal, saying he's the reason why your chick left you. He exposed you for having a side chick. You didn't
All
take any of that
100%,
personal.
because all of it was 100% a lie. Me and my fiance at the time watched that side chick segment in my kitchen and laughed all night. It was hilarious. Academics had nothing to do with my breakup at all. Podcast, engagement, anything. I understand it's a fun narrative and, like, it's cool. You guys can run with it. He's very good at making it seem that way. But no, man. And the side chick, I don't know, the story's changed 50 times. He fucked her, then it was his man's, then they trained her, then on top of that, they also filmed it from security cameras, which I think is illegal. But I don't know. He's very entertaining, but it's just so much contradictions in the stories. They always change. He's just really good at telling them. I'll give him that. He's very talented at that. I forgot the original question. Oh, regret anything. I think I regret in hindsight not realizing that part of that breakup maybe had to do with 20 years of friendship, and I was focusing on a podcast beef. I thought this was just about what was currently happening within our podcast, within business, and the microphone. Of course, we were all friends. I didn't realize, and that was maybe just me being younger and naive, that what I was trying to mend as a middleman was 20 years of friendship that I know nothing about or was around for.
We got I'm a battle rap fan, so Bishop holds. Even though I don't know him, he don't know me, but Bishop holds a spot near and dear to my heart.
You were real hyped that Troy Ave tweeted you yesterday.
Listen.
Yo,
I was in
Danny's
my
a
bed
Troy
catching up
Ave
with
fan.
everything. and I'm like,
Here's the thing. I like Troy Ave music. I'm about to get canceled. I fuck with his music. I'm sorry. Don't.
so
I was like,
I know you from Connecticut.
Nah, man. Nah, I would go into the Troy Ave set right now, piss off 1,000 people in here.
Troy Ave has some good records.
Nah, I fuck with his music. That's why I'm sorry. I'm still amazed by these things that be happening to me. Maybe one day I'll be desensitized. But shout out to Bishop Brigante. I don't know if you have a question. You raised your hand. And once again, go ahead.
No. I've been like jumping in and jumping out of this spaces, and don't shoot me if I'm out of line on this question. I mean it with all due respect. Rory, is it you that doesn't want to engage with Joe in this spaces right now? Like, do you not want him to come up and communicate with you, or is it the stop, or is it the host? I don't know what's going on here, because I see that Joe's in the crowd, and I hear that people are messaging you, Danny. I guess that's your name. Is that your name, Danny? Stop.
Danny, yes, Danny.
Yeah, sorry,
Danny's
my
my
bad.
name. Joe published my picture yesterday. That's how
I just wanted to make sure I was being respectful. But is it you, Rory, that doesn't want to engage, or or y'all just trying to like keep this like as like, I don't know, it feels one sided. So is it you that doesn't want him up here, or is it not?
Oh well, I mean, one side is interesting because
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that as a shot.
Oh no, of course. The last 2 to 3 days have been dedicated to one side taking their holiday to continue to talk about me. I was supposed to do a space with Danny. I think was it last week?
Sunday.
And we moved it to today, and so Danny, I have no interest, and I said this earlier before you got on, so I'm repeating myself to some people. I have no interest in talking to Joe. I think that time has passed, and if there is a time where that happens again, I would do that privately and then publicly. I'm not getting on here to argue about sleeper picks. Like I'm cool. I gave every bit of fucking effort and fiber in my being to discuss everything we're talking about amongst everybody privately. After try to resolve more, try to keep things going. I did all that. I'm not gonna come on here and dance for y'all entertainment with Joe to argue about lawyers and sleeper picks.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But I'm here to address stuff. And
that's why
I can also
understand
why people think. All right, ducking smoke. Cool. Say it. All right, maybe I am ducking smoke.
I appreciate Bishop asking that, because there's people saying I'm trying to not bring Joe up because of my agenda, but it was agreed we wouldn't bring him up, and I think it would be crazy for me to bring him up and be like, I gave Rory my word. So
Danny and I planned this.
Stop standing on business.
Twitter space well before the Christmas Eve, after Christmas Day holiday dedication I got. So this spaces was already scheduled, and it was nothing to do with what was going on. But I wasn't about to cancel it, because to me that would have been really duck and smoke. I knew he spent 3 days staring at his phone, waiting to see my name pop up and shit. I knew he was going to be in here today. I'm not. I'm dumb sometimes. I'm not that dumb.
As the day oneer and like a full-time, you know what I mean, full-time supporter of the pod, I will say that your wit and your comedic timing and shit like that is definitely missed on the pod. And hopefully one day, when y'all can, when that conversation comes to fruition, hopefully there's some type of situation where, you know what I mean, y'all can unite again and make something happen, even if it's just for an episode or whatever. But your wit and your comedic timing and your comedy is definitely missed on the pod. Salute to you, bro.
Appreciate that, man.
Ian, we need you to get on the line. That's to you, Ian.
Ian Dunlop.
Ian Dunlop, yeah.
Shout out to Bishop.
Shout out Ian.
Yeah, Ian. I feel like Ian is the one that could do, not Danny not Dan. I thought you were talking about me when you said that you missed the wittiness, Bishop Brigante. Heartbroken. All right. Any questions? I feel like there's 1,400 people here.
Yeah, I got a question. Yo, Rory, speaking of like narratives, how did you feel about like the whole fight narrative, like that you was actively challenging Joe to a fight several times? You still stand on that it was really Joe that started and it was manipulation and like just fans switching it to thinking that you wanted to fight Joe this whole time?
It definitely started on his end, but very much as a joke. I never thought Joe wanted to fight me. So, no, I don't think he seriously started the fight narrative. But he started the joking fight one, which I participated in up until the last episode before the Hey Take a Break. That was the only time there was ever like seriously some talk about hands, which I regret saying that on air, to be honest with you, in retrospect. That's how I felt at the time. But I don't think I should say those things, to be honest.
Did you think you took it too
But
far? When
also,
you said,
I guess in my head, I thought people would take it as a joke, but sometimes I'm way too easy to read, and I was visibly angry, and I thought it came out as a joke, and I watched it. It didn't.
So
Rory,
it looked real.
We took it as a joke until you started crying about it.
Now you
When
said
did
that
when did I cry about it?
I just think it always
you,
looks
Joe
like you.
did.
But it also looks like you always about to cry sometimes, Rory. I always feel like you look like the dude who lost his judder in Fast and Furious. But
that's why. No, it's. I heard you're repeating jokes, Danny. Come on, you're wittier than
I have my bits.
reuse material.
I have my bits.
Nah, that's what's trash, and I have a vulnerable moment with y'all. That's why, like, I can't really post photos on Instagram all the time. My eyes always look like I'm crying. Like, it's trash. I don't know why my eyes are that way. Or maybe I'm pussy, and maybe I just
You
cry.
just see the pain.
I don't really. Yeah, maybe it's just that inner Irish pain. I don't know.
Repressed pain, the pinch of Irish Pan-Africanism. All right,
But when did I start crying about
No, I said Joe was crying about you.
Oh,
wanted to get hands with him. That's all. He was like, I'm not going to fight my friends.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that who said we're not friends look very, very serious.
Now when Joe did.
I'll give you an exclusive that I
like
never
that.
said. I was quoting him when I said that.
Oh shit!
Oh my god!
And it's not a drop the mic moment.
I dropped my mic.
We were in Park's basement, not the old basement, the newer one, having a conversation about the difference between friends, associates, like business people, like a fun, regular, like me, Parks, and Joe were usually the first people that, well, obviously Parks, he lived there. So we would chop it up like it wouldn't even be pre-production. We would just be kicking it and just have cool combos. And somehow Parks asked, it got intertwined to me. And this was all Joe. Like, we weren't being serious, and I never felt a way about it. But Joe said, who the fuck said Rory's my friend? And it was all jokes and fun or whatever. But that is what came into my mind at that moment. Of course, when I said it, I was being serious. But it did come from a Joe sentence. And I think he realized at the time that I was quoting him, because it happened fucking hours before.
No.
So it's not really an exclusive, but I always just found it funny that people quote me not knowing that I was really just retweeting Joe when I said that.
Y'all always kind of played this line of not being friends but being friends. And it was always kind of like something underlying in the exchange.
Charlemagne started it.
I consider Joe a real friend. That's where I stand on the entire thing.
Okay. Did you say that thing about the $40,000 to mess with the new cast?
Talk about it.
No, man. It's funny. I thank you, Danny, for making me look more like a mastermind that I wasn't.
It did, though. It looks like that weighs heavy on their hearts. That you got 40,000. I know there's a
how are we gonna chest.
How are we gonna wait? What's that thing, Joseph? How are we gonna joke if we never get serious? That I don't think they ever see 40,000 a month. So that it would have. You know how it be when people find out how people make it work.
I don't know their finances, and it's none of my business. Nor do I want to speak about what they get paid. When I was making that point, my point was to show how serious we were about the entire thing. Like, how could I be lying? Who walks away from 40K a month? Like, clearly something has to really be wrong. And people call me dumb. That's why I was trying to be so transparent. Like, $40,000 a month. I've never seen $40,000 a month up at that point. Yeah, it's fucking crazy to walk away from. So there must be a real fucking issue here. That was really my point. You guys spun it and made me look like a mastermind, so I appreciate it.
Well, you did it by some form or fashion.
And some of the hosts reacted very poorly. Like,
yeah,
like it really hurt them.
I mean, you don't want to speak on the host, right? So that makes sense.
No, I mean, if y'all have questions, I just don't really have much.
You did have that quote. You did have that quote that you quoted Joe and said that the new host would get a fraction of what you and Mo.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yo, Abdul, exactly. That was another statement you made that looked strategic.
100% factual. What do you mean strategic? I was telling our side of the story. Somebody kicked my back in for 3 hours to an empty chair about my character, said insane words about me. So I did my reply video and I told the real story. That was a fact. Okay. Strategic. I mean, if telling the truth is strategic, then sure, it was strategic.
It can be strategic. Telling the truth definitely can be strategic.
Rory, why haven't you done the Need to Know podcast?
I'd be down to do it. I talked to Savon and I had a great talk after that whole thing. And I'm happy him and Mo had a talk as well. I was glad to see that get resolved. But yeah, I would definitely do. I wanted to do Need to Know right around the time that Ish went on there, but I talked with Savon of like, yeah, it looks like y'all look too JBP casty, like, because Savon and Alex are talented far outside of this community. Like, their stick is not us. Of course, there was a crazy look when Joe had went on there before, and then Mo and I replied to everything. But they're so much more than just that. So I told Savon, let's do it another time once you guys have a few more guests, so it just doesn't look like a bunch of JBP co-hosts are your thing. And then the whole shit happened with Joe, so things got derailed. But 2024, I would be happy to go on that pod. I fuck with both of them.
Are you and Alex cool? Because he seemed like pretty mad that you referred to him as Green Man.
I mean, yeah, Alex and I are fine from my understanding. Once again, I'm much closer with Savon. I'm trying to be mature, and I tried to look at the perspective. Yeah, I guess he can feel a way. My intentions were to call him what I've called him since the day I met him. He saved a Screen Man in my phone. Like, I've always called him Screen Man. That's what we called him on the pod. I didn't see it as a little bro thing or like some ego shit. But I mean, he's entitled to feel that way, but the intentions were fully just to call him Screen Man. The last time I saw him in person, the first thing I said out loud was Screen Man. Was good. Like, that's just what I call him. I didn't think it was offensive, but who am I to say what other people find offensive? That's their right to do so.
Nah, speaking on like just someone fixating on one thing, I hope you called them boys out, because that was a masterclass of just not addressing a lot of things, just labels and terms. Like speaking of from a neutral point, like Alex just was focused on what y'all said, semantics, but instead of addressing what really happened.
I find that shit super obvious. I don't know if other people do, but yeah, I mean, it was clear as day. But
yep.
You know.
I gotta be honest.
Listen, also, I feel for them too. Like, I've misspoke, and then sometimes you just gotta kind of die on the hill, even when you're wrong in the podcast, because we talk so much, we misspeak sometimes. Like, I feel them. I didn't appreciate that they tried to do that spin, which I said on our episode afterwards, but it's all up. We've pieced everything up. Like, those guys are great.
I truly feel like Angie Martinez interviewing Jay-Z after R. Kelly was pepper sprayed. This is amazing stuff. Thank you. I have a question.
It's a really weird
Stoppy Martinez. Do you understand, Joe? Do you feel like now that you've run your own podcast it's kind of a theme he's talked about, like the idea of being the main man in charge and having to make these decisions, because he's often talked about, these times and Maul about we need to take this podcast to the next level, and that y'all weren't necessarily receptive. Is that something you understand more now that you're the A mics of a podcast that I think is successful, even if others try to downplay it?
Oh, I think it's two separate questions. The second one I'll answer really quick. Speaking for me, I was always on board to have the conversations about taking the pod to the next level and things that we needed to do to grow the pod. I suggested nonstop that we should do weekly Monday team meetings at the crib or somewhere where we have real production meetings. All on record, all on text, all on email, but neither here nor there. What exactly do you mean? Do I understand what Joe meant about running a company? Can you be a bit more? It's very general because I know you and you do the science. What are you really trying to get at specifically? So I want to answer it properly. That's just
Well,
a
I
very
mean,
general question. So I'll give you a general answer. Do you want something more specific?
Well, I'm just going to lay out. So in your Vulture article, you talk about kind of, I think this was Moss quote, kind of like this idea of a ego that Joe had and how that generated most of the decisions. But sometimes ego is just being a leader and making choices and making things like that. Do you understand some of the decisions he made that might have rubbed you the wrong way now that you're on the other side of that, creatively, accounting wise? Not creative
Not showing the
accounting.
Spotify deal.
Not showing the creative accounting. Why did I say creative accounting? Creatively and accounting wise. Do you understand that?
I mean, I understand from that situation and now running a company, but not my first time doing so, of how important communication is. And admittedly to him, he said he failed as a leader and someone to communicate things, which is cool. I commend him for admitting that. So I see even more how important communication is to run a ship. Because people have questions, and when questions aren't answered, they start to feel like something's wrong. It's just natural human nature. So, does that answer it, or is that too political?
No, anything you say is fine. I think your perspective is what.
Nah, because they're gonna tell you didn't give me any pushback, and this was easy. And
you should. There's a space. There's a space going on right now about how I'm a bitch for what I'm doing right now.
There's a space about a space, man.
I've been banned. I've been banned from Reddit's JBTV community. It happens. But anything you want to kind of address though? Like, is there something that's a narrative that persists that you want to deconstruct and be like, that shit didn't happen, or because we got questions all day, so I'm asking you.
You guys can keep asking questions. I mean, I didn't catch every last thing over the last 3 days. I only caught like certain clips and screen recordings that were sent to me. I think the lawyer shit was funny to me. Sleeper, like I think we addressed most of what I saw, but again, y'all were talking for a combined 20 hours, so I don't know everything that was said. So you guys can just ask questions.
I have a question about the length of the pod.
All right, absurd. Go ahead.
No, I have a question about the length of the pod. They was talking about it last night in the other spaces regarding the length of y'all podcast, and there was some statement from Damaris regarding the stamina of it to be able to go longer than an hour and a half, 2 hours. Could you speak to that? Because I don't think that's the case with y'all. I think y'all are real interested and can be. Y'all probably just do it because it's just a better use of y'all time.
Yeah, and I heard one clip back. I don't know if stamina was brought up, or are you just paraphrasing based on
it was
interpreted from what you said?
They basically said gotcha. Y'all get tired though.
No, I don't think it's that. We're just in a different space as people. Like our attention spans are very, very short. And I mean, I commend and see value in people that do 3-hour podcasts. I mean, as a podcast fan, when I like a pod and they do 3 hours, I think it's great. So again, I commend pods that do that, but with our strategy and where the market is going and what works best for our business and our content and the consumers in which we speak to and where we want to grow, yeah, sometimes pack in an hour and a half, put it out. Let's Patreon. Let's get our IG clips. Like the TikTok changed everyone's attention span for the worst. It was bad before, but now it's at a different level.
Nah, less can be more.
Rory
Less can be
doesn't like
more.
the Chinese.
Rory, I may have misheard you. I may have misheard you, but I did want to gain some clarification on the 40,000 a month. You say it wasn't done strategically by trying to pit them against one another, but were you making 40,000 a month?
Joe confirmed it.
'Cause
Yeah,
I
even
thought
in the
Joe
clip.
said that was incorrect.
Joe said it on the space, like, yeah.
That
Joe and
was
Money
the
guys,
that was the beginning when Patreon was added to the fold. Ian had
Right.
called
So
me
that
about
was
that.
that was part of
So that's
Patreon. That wasn't
2020.
your regular. That wasn't your regular pod salary, though, correct?
No, not before that. And I never alluded that was. I was saying when we
No,
walked
understood.
away,
I
it was
wanted
40,000.
clarification. Thank you. And then
Yeah.
with reference to that, had you ever offered to pay Savon and Alex prior to that, or was there not a need to?
This was. I don't think there was a need to, and also, I'm with Joe's where like narratives also get spun. I'm with Joe as far as saying that's not your business to tell to go pay my employees. I agree with him there. I never disagree with him there. That came from just a place of back to being overworked and underpaid. That being expressed to us as someone that wanted to see this grow and cared so much about it. When Ian called me, I was like, I mean, bro, we're about to double up on all this. Like, I don't need this right now. And I told Joe, and no matter what he thinks in his head, he knows this is true. Coming out of the Spotify deal, I told him, yo, no matter what we do next, if you don't take a deal, don't do this, don't do that. I've been stacking my bread. I'm in a really good place right now. Don't worry about me. And I'm saying that also as a compliment about Joe, because I think Joe was very concerned in a loving way about making sure everybody was being paid on the pod once the Spotify deal was done. Commendable. I get it. That's why I went to him and said, don't worry about me. I'm cool. I've been stacking. Like, you don't have to keep that in your brain. If you need to put money elsewhere, which again, isn't my business. It was just a friend gesture at the time. And then I said the same thing to Ian later. And then to hear Ian on the podcast in the background of when Joe was yelling at a chair of like, when we're going through times, like, come on, man. Sometimes people just need to give a little. Like, I'm like, bro, that's exactly what I did. Y'all are just spinning shit. Like,
do you believe the podcast was making less during that time and he was kind of just reacting to that and trying to put it on y'all?
I don't know what his Cash App deal in crypto was. I don't know what he made on Patreon. I don't know.
I got a question.
Would he be? He wouldn't be putting it on them if it wasn't a. They weren't paying it before. So this again, just for further clarification, I apologize, Rory. So you guys were not getting paid 40,000 a month prior to Spotify deal?
During the Spotify deal, no, I was not being paid $40,000 a month.
Wow.
Understood.
And I don't really. I never said that I was being paid $40,000 from the Spotify deal.
I think that's what people took it as when they heard the 40,000. They took your average.
Y'all can't put that on me because I was making a direct point
just
that I
wanted
walked
clarification.
away.
I'm just correcting the record. I'm just big on correcting the record so people can't infer. They can't make narratives.
And then y'all still called me a liar. I heard that clip. I was like, wait, he just confirmed my story.
Talking about that
How
dude
am I
that
still a
sound
liar?
Talking about that dude that sound like Sharp 100. All right.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yo.
He sounded like the interludes on a Good Kid, Mad City album last night.
Sharp 100.
I was like, damn, blood. I shouldn't go outside.
You need to stop throwing your hand. You need to stop throwing your stuff.
Post your arm.
Hands.
But Bean got a question.
Bean, go ahead, Bean.
I jumped in here a little late. I might have already missed the question, but now I feel like it's a little bit of transparency going on, but not a lot. And I talked with Danny and them last night. I was up in the spot, but now that we got Rory on the stage, did you or Maul know about the Cash App deal or the Patreon deal prior to Joe announcing it?
No.
What was that?
No.
That's been said before,
and
right?
that's been confirmed by
Okay,
him.
cool. No, so that leads me to my next question. So, how bad, in your opinion, was the communication amongst the cast? Because I think even up to a month or two ago, even on the current cast, they was going back and forth about what time they should even be coming in to record. So I'm just asking you, since you've been around, and I've never missed an episode. So I've been around from Cardi on episode 45. I've been a listener for a long time. So all that mannerisms and stuff you talk about, when during the recording, we see it too. That's why in the back of my head, I'm like, that cupcake joke, that struck a nerve. And I don't think you was the same since, personally, because you tapped him like you wanted to bring him outside. So
that's all right.
But
no, I really
sorry. Back to the
I remember that. That was actually hilarious. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, my bad. But yeah, how bad was the communication in your opinion?
Absolutely awful. But I think that's been on both sides that everyone's admitted that communication was terrible. I tried my best to ask questions and was met with just an odd energy of resistance for simple things like asking. I think everyone in here, if they were sitting on a couch and Joe announced a Patreon deal and, hey, we're about to do a bunch of episodes, would naturally go and ask afterwards, is this a JBP thing or is this a Joe Budden thing? And then you're met with screaming. It just comes off weird. So communication was awful. Maybe there was things I could have communicated better. Maybe we should have just let every other person's manager or lawyer handle every bit of communication outside of the microphone. That may have been smarter, but I mean, we were all outside of the accounting situation. I have full empathy for everyone involved of this being a brand new thing that we were all navigating as we went. And to Joe's credit, most fell on him. He had most of the pressure in this new space that we were navigating as friends trying to do business.
Respect.
So I have a lot of empathy for that role in that position.
Respectfully,
I've been clear on where my
feel like since I've been listening, respectfully, because I'm actually a supporter. I feel like every single question you've been asked, you've answered it the same exact way. I don't know if anybody else is catching it. It's like it's not you're wrong in your response. It's just that you shoot bail, you respond, but then you also give them grace at the end of your response. But either way, my next question is
that's the Catholic way.
What's wrong? What's wrong with that? Like
nothing.
I think that's an objective
pattern.
way to view
it's
things.
a pattern. I'm just noticing the pattern. That's all.
I said earlier, I'm in a much better space with everything. It's been years. Hindsight's always 20/20. I have a different perspective on a lot of stuff outside of the issues that I've never changed. So yeah, of course.
So then we should get some. Okay, so then I should get some honesty with this next question, right?
Okay.
Are you and Maul actually friends? Because I feel like it's giving me like a Mandy and Weezy kind of relationship.
They have a successful podcast.
Like
I'm not gonna speak about that, but come on, man. I love Weezy and Mandy, but they haven't admittedly had a very tumultuous relationship.
No, I'm saying as far as the business relationship. Like, do y'all just show up and record? I think Maul said on one episode, like, y'all don't really even speak outside the pod. So, to me, are y'all co-workers, basically?
We're business partners. We're not co-workers. We're business partners, and Maul and I speak every day regarding business stuff.
But Rory, you have friends, dog. You have friends. Is he a friend?
Yes, I consider Maul a friend. And can I finish? Especially this past year, with having a child, plus Maul being 10, 11 years older than me. And Maul also, even on the old pod, did not go out. That's not his character. That's why I kind of laugh at this new narrative that you guys have been putting out. Maul doesn't go out, period. Like, that's who he is. It's not now we change it because you added me in. Like, now all of a sudden Maul's supposed to be a social butterfly. Yes, he's my friend, but we have, you don't have friends that just don't go out, or you don't like hang out every day. I think this is also a weird narrative.
I disagree. I have plenty of friends that I don't hang out with every day, or associates that I don't interact with often. But someone I would consider a business partner and a friend, I have been to their home. I'll say that. So
Can you guys
that
explain
was
this one to me? Okay. To answer your
Yeah,
first
I
part,
don't
Maul
know.
and
I don't know
Maul
if
and
I
I
agree
speak
with
every
this.
single day, guys. Like, this is hilarious. Maul and I speak every single day, guys, about personal stuff and business stuff. I consider him
so.
a friend. Arguing with
So he's
people
just a
about
private person. He's private, where it's just
his
you
bio
give
is
him his
private figure
space.
for 10 years.
Well, I mean, again, Rory, you have to understand where the line of questioning comes from. You shot the pod in your home. Your living room was a set, bro. I'm just saying,
All right.
I think personally it's odd that you guys are business partners, you share lawyers, and you've never been to his house, bro. I just think it odd. That's it.
Like, what kind of couch does he have?
I don't know what kind of couch Maul has. How
Nah,
in
7
Detroit.
Mile,
For
48219, real
people
talk.
that live in New York and New Jersey and here, going to people's houses is not like as common as y'all think it is. Even with close friends, unless you grew up in the neighborhood with them. Like, we meet at places. Maul and I have a studio together. We're there Monday through Friday. Like, I don't need to go. Also, Maul lives far as fuck outside of New York. I'm not leaving the office to drive to go see what Maul's couch looks like. This is
Then
scary.
to what?
Can you guys
Then
really
what the
explain
guy
this one to me?
said?
Because I'm trying to
What?
understand y'all perspective.
Roy, well,
So
I'm trying to
Project,
give you
I
as
have a
much
quick question for
clarification.
you.
Hold on, let me go to
Project, I have
what
a
the
A lot
quote
of
question.
us
said.
just some country
It's
folks.
hold
We
on,
hang out at
one
each
mic,
other's
one
houses.
mic, one mic, one mic. I'm just going back to what
Love
bro
you
just
guys.
said, right? Okay, are y'all just coworkers then? Because I got plenty of people. Go ahead.
Project. We kind of done
Okay,
with. I feel like we're
gotcha.
done with this. We're
I will
done with
say it
this.
again.
And I have a
Maul is
question
my
for Project
friend
real quick.
and business partner. I don't know another
Go
way
ahead.
to answer that for you.
Project, what situation do you think that they should have been in, or what warrants a reason for Rory to have gone to Maul's house? What situation do you see where it's like, hey, Rory, come to my house?
Christmas.
It's weird, bro. I mean, come on. People spend holidays with their friends, birthdays. You don't go to your homeboy house on his birthday, bro?
Not if his
You
birthday
know what I'm saying?
party
Or
is
what?
in the city. No, I'm not going to go to his crib while he's at dinner in the city.
Well, again, you asked. I'm from Detroit. Sometimes we pregame, bro. So before we go to the club, you might come over to my crib.
Maul is
All right.
42
Hey,
and
I
So
doesn't
ain't,
drink.
Maul don't get on the grill, pause.
I ain't gonna lie.
Maul's
When
a
I found
vegan.
out
barbecues. I
these,
mean,
Maul's a
yeah.
vegan.
What we talking about?
Wait, you guys are like, this is like, okay, maybe it is that we're New Yorkers, but especially he's saying Maul is far. He lives in New Jersey and they meet at work. They'll probably just drink at work and go to a bar and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I
The
dragged.
semantics of this are
I know
Actually,
this
crazy.
is
Why are we wasting
this is
I've
time
funnier
been,
on
than
this?
sleepers.
I've been,
Yeah,
wait,
if you're
wait,
in
excuse
New
me.
York, you understand
Wait, but
this. This is a ridiculous
this is the
conversation
third
to
time
have.
I've been in a room and this has been asked and it's weird and the same person has asked this question.
It's so odd.
Let's just let it go. You guys, we're not, you're not gonna understand. There's plenty of friends that haven't been to their house. Most of my friends, yes, but no.
I haven't been to Rory's house. I mean, but I, I mean, you guys should have a friend segment and just be like, hey,
like
is this
a
person friends?
podcast.
You
No,
guys
no,
should do a
no,
Yeah.
vlog. Go to everybody's
no,
house.
no.
Go to
Just be
see where
like,
Baby D lives.
yo, is Angie
You
Martinez
can boot
and
me.
Monse friends? But
You can boot me. That question just has me frustrated for 2 days
I
because
just had to bring you up because I
no,
knew you would.
but it's
You
just
already,
that
you are the
it's been
voice of all of us. We all feel the same way. It's that one individual that
it's
him and
like
Joe, because
I
Joe
think the
questioned it
sleeper
too.
question is way more less weird because this is just getting weird. But yes, boot me.
Oh, even Joe brought that up. That's funny.
Yeah,
Well, he co-signed it. He
Rory
was
and
like,
Mo
"Yeah,
are
that's
not
me."
friends. Nah,
I don't know.
Rory,
just
I got a question about Uh, Joe had mentioned that you guys have run into each other more than once, and on one of the occasions, it was like a close kind of private situation, and you were acting weird.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
Yeah,
recall
he
that?
so I heard that clip too. He accurately told that timeline. The last one with the 40-40 thing, he was correct about, but he left out context, and I think he was like, he just did some weird white boy shit. This was post him going on math, and I felt a way because at that point I really thought there was a truce on us talking about each other. Like I thought shit was not okay, but like, all right, bro, it is what it is. Everyone's going separate ways as far as podcasting goes. And I did not appreciate that math interview and the spins that he was doing on it. So when he approached me at 40-40 Club, I said, yo, I didn't appreciate that. And it turned into a back and forth in that regard, which turned into him calling me a weirdo. And yeah, that's what happened.
How about the car ride?
Wasn't trying to show
Oh
out
yes.
for anyone. Like
The car ride where he's
Yeah, he said you got in a car with him. Is that accurate? And y'all had some words.
I never told Joe I made $10 million in a car ride. Like that was funny too. Have
did you
Joe and I been in a car together? 100%. And this is not me spinning it. Yeah, Joe and I have been in a car ride. Have Joe and I been in a car ride post breakup? Yes. But there was no talk about $10 million. Like that's where Joe is really good about certain things. He'll take a little bit of truth to root it in to make you feel like, okay, no, he is telling the truth, and then change everything after that. He's a master at that, and I get it's great for entertainment.
It's what great storytellers do. I mean,
he's amazing at it.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen
far better than me.
I
Admittedly, far better than me.
Do you regret that car ride? Do you feel like you put yourself in the position? Okay.
No, because I don't.
Yeah. All
right. I regret feeling like things were not okay, but they were at a standstill of like, it is what it is. And the tornado of shit that happened the past 3 years was not going to happen. We both said our piece. We did our Vimeo shit. You did your shit. You brought the lawyers on. You brought the therapists on. Everyone got their shit out. And I thought we weren't cool and things weren't resolved, but it was done in that aspect. And then to watch the math thing, I think I got pissed off. Like those feelings came back. So I regret thinking that Joe was on some, yo, it's cool, we can just all go separate ways thing. Not, oh, you're going to continue to go towards my character and retell the story and contradict everything you've already said. Like, I just didn't think we were in that place at that time. Clearly, after that, it's gotten to that place times 1,000. But that's what that interaction at 40-40 Club was about, and that was the last time I spoke to Joe.
Did you? People often talk about episode 437 being like this terrible moment, but how did you feel about the therapist episode? I thought that one was a little interesting too.
I can honestly say I did not watch that whole thing. I think I watched a few clips, to be honest. I thought it was unprofessional of her, and let me not put this on a jacket because admittedly I didn't watch that entire thing. Did they discuss Joe and I's therapy session on that episode?
No.
Okay, then never mind. I take everything.
Not in deep detail. I think it was like, I think she,
because I thought that might have been unprofessional to have somebody that we just spoke about issues to now come on. That was the therapist that Joe and I had met with.
Okay, now that I figured,
but I don't want to put it on a jacket. I honestly don't want to put it on a jacket because admittedly I did not watch it. I just remember seeing it and going like, I mean, that's not on Joe's behalf, on her behalf. I was like, that's If they are discussing me or him, I think that's kind of like goes against whatever therapist code.
That's why I thought. That's why I never. That's why I'm like, why y'all go to therapy together? Because I felt like it eventually would come on air. Chris, and then Yassine Bey.
So Rory, in that response video, you and
Most Def is in here.
Who?
What?
Oh, that's right.
Yassine Bey. So Rory, in that response video you and Ma did,
Mhm.
You guys kind of alluded to the fact that Parks kind of snaked you guys by telling Joe about the meeting. Can you clear that up?
To the
I
shits.
did.
Parks.
Are you saying by Maul saying Parks?
No. Chris
And your
asked a different
conclusion?
question. Chris asked a different question. Disregard the Parks thing.
No, I'm asking about Parks because the common like theory in the video that Parks was in the meeting with you guys. He had grievances about being overworked and underpaid, and you
Mhm.
guys kind of made it seem like he had those same sentiments, and he went and told Joe about it. Can you clear that up?
I mean, that's what happened in our response video to Savon and Screen Man. We retold the same story that we've said every single time.
There
But
was a different part.
I added in a tidbit to say I don't think Parks did that maliciously at all. I really don't think Parks had some agenda, or Parks left that meeting and was like, I'm gonna go spite Rory and Maul and completely lie about what I really don't think that, and I've never had that perspective. I admittedly didn't really like Parks's comments after we left. But I mean, I get it. Things split. You're on that side. That's your choice.
You did say
I never said it. I never said anything foul about Parks. I do think Parks is a good-hearted person, and I don't think he did anything malicious in there. I think he mishandled it, but again, so did everyone.
you did say that in the Save On response that
Yeah.
you wanted that you told I think you told Joe or somebody that you wanted to have Parks in front of y'all recount the same exact thing he
I
said
told
to Joe.
I told Ian and Joe that when I was in Atlanta, after I got the text going through TSA about the fucking takes a few pods off. I was in the parking lot of a recording studio making My Phone Can Die with Ari, walked outside, got on the phone with Ian, and got more details about everything that was fucking happening. And I was like, oh, let's just all get in a room. Because even at that point, it wasn't on some like, yo, fuck this thing. That didn't happen until Maul went to the pod that I was taking off and it went to shit. Before that, it was more just conversations. And it sounded like what Ian was saying was complete misinformation. So I said, let's all get in a room and everyone can. It wasn't to be like, call him out. It was for communication.
Okay.
That's not what I said. So whoever said it, I later found out it was from Parks. Then let's all get together because I didn't say that. I don't want to do the he said, she said shit. Let's all get in a room like fucking men and talk.
I mean, much like Parks is an interesting case. I've always found him fascinating, this whole thing, because he spoke the least. Much like when you did the response with Julian there, and Julian kind of said the same thing about like, kind of felt like he started to distance himself once things started to get nuclear from y'all.
You're saying Parks distanced himself from while
You
we
and
were still in the
Maul.
pod?
Yeah. Like once things started to kind of get to the boiling point and it seemed like water was going to come out the pot, it was like, oh, episode 437, he starts chiming in. He starts saying things like, Joe's going to take part of the deal. Joe's going to do this. This is the Joe Budden podcast. So it's like, that's what I mean. I could see some animus, and it came from Maul on the podcast, the Vimeo, and I've always felt like that was never explored, the role that Parks had to play. And Savon and Alex didn't do the same. Savon and Alex and Joe didn't even address that part either.
I'm trying to follow. You're saying tension between Parks, Maul, and I before the breakup is what you're alluding to.
I'm talking about as the breakup was occurring, it seemed like there was a type of diversion done by. I'm not there. I'm just an observer.
Yeah, it looked like he picked a side after the breakup. He was chiming in a lot after those episodes after the breakup. I don't know if you.
Yeah, no, and that's where, from a personal level, at that point, I felt it was a little unnecessary, and I didn't appreciate it when he was making comments because we didn't shit on Parks in our response video at all. We it's become a catchphrase. Parks knows, like he was in that meeting, he knows, which he said. Savon and Alex retold it to be false. Like Maul and I's story has never changed, and I had no issue with Parks. Matter of fact, right before the breakup, I think was probably the closest Parks and I had even been. Like Parks and I were cool. He was setting up shit at Preem Studio for me. I was working with phony people. Like Parks and I had a cool relationship outside. We're both fucking white rap nerds. Like we have a lot in common. I fucked with Parks. I thought it was weird and corny that he made those shots at the end, which I'm not gonna speak for him, but I'm sure he probably isn't proud of that the same way all of us aren't really proud of a lot of things that were said at the time when emotions were high and sides had to be like split. And Parks is allowed to say that, but I'm also allowed to feel away and not really have an interest in having a relationship with Parks after that.
Did you want Parks to work on the album with you at any point?
I don't.
Him and I did a potential interlude with Joe's son. Trey Parks and I got in the studio together to work on what would have been an interlude for my project. We didn't get to finish it, and then obviously everything broke and split. But I mean, yeah, of course I wanted Parks
He was
involved
supposed to
on
use that.
stuff, but I already had. I think Parks is a great engineer, but I had another engineer with Avant Garde and Emotional Oranges that we had been using for years prior to, and yeah, so it wasn't like I needed to call Parks and be like, "Yo, can you engineer?" And he was fucking busy too. Did I play him a bunch of shit all the time? Sure. Yeah, I think Parks is a good ear. I always want opinions from people's ear I respect.
All right, Yassine Bey, you've been up here. You called me trash and then said you're sorry, and I said,
"Where's the new album?"
Yo, relax.
This is
Okay, Roars. Like, I don't know if you already answered this or whatever, or if anybody asked you this, but is it possible to just get the three guys back together and just start all over and just put everything behind you guys?
No.
That was asked before. That's why I didn't really want to. But all right, thanks. Okay. Somebody DM'd me this, and I think it was an interesting conversation. Did you feel like Joe was using the profits from Rory and Maul? I mean, profits from the podcast to fund his network?
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Slick, do you have any questions, Chris?
Cases with Jameson, you didn't talk to him at all. Like, while they were trying to do the setup, he boldly came out and was like, "Yo, Rory's pulling up tonight." Like, have you had any conversation, anything with Jameson at all, ever?
I will read you.
Oh shit.
We got the receipts. Holy.
Jameson, I still haven't hit accept at 1:56 a.m. today. The first DM I've ever gotten from Jameson in my life. "Hey, Rory, I'm Jameson. I set up the Orange and Moneybag spaces today. I thought fans should have a town hall about the Eden situation. Was not a setup. Would love to do spaces with you anytime you are available. This is at 1 o'clock in the morning today."
Yikes.
Well, Jameson, you tried to come for my spot.
Don't use me as bait for your beef. I'm just telling the truth.
The way he did promo.
I have no issue with Jameson. I just think it's funny he spun y'all like that. Yeah,
I mean that was part of the play though. Like I got Rory. That was kind of the
gang
thing
members in that shit saying I wasn't outside. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm cooking lamb chops with my pops and my daughter. I didn't even know y'all was in here.
So my party, the big homie, that's his name.
And I only joined that space because Damaris texted me the link, and I was just chilling at the crib. I didn't know you guys were already in. I didn't know not you guys. Pardon me. We're already in there for like 3 hours, like waiting. And then Rory hit me and caught me up to speed, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" So,
is it hard to tell the spaces apart now that there's so many people doing spaces?
I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday was the first time I even used the space. I don't really know what's going on over here. It's just it's not confusing. It's just like overwhelming. It's just a lot of talking in circles.
It is.
Hey, question, Rory. Speaking of like the whole Maul situation, like how do you feel about that growing narrative that you and Maul are on two different trajectories, like in the podcasting career, like, and that you kind of want to drop him? They've been getting that kind of narrative. Do you agree with that, or is that just fluffing it?
That is something you guys completely made up. I've never alluded to wanting to drop Maul. And how could I drop a business partner that owns 50% of our company. He's just as much a part of it as I am. Like, that's such another weird narrative.
That would take the pot to another level, like that storyline. But
Y'all would much rather see my business crumble. Maul and I hate each other. Not be happy for your entertainment. I
think their argument is that the business will flourish.
Maul and I are friends, and we like doing business together. I hate to tell y'all that.
Can't you like add something to kind of throw like a tea leaf for the science to be like, Maul is cool, but sometimes I don't like his approach.
He got the producers acting up. What else do we want?
That's a valid point. That's a valid point.
Maul got the producers acting up?
No, he'd say no, not Maul. He's talking about Julian and Ed. But we're not talking about that.
No, he's saying the fans already have a conflict. What more conflict do they need? I get it.
Gotcha. Well, no,
I understand. Divisiveness is attractive. I get it, but yeah, I mean, how many times are you gonna ask Rory the same question?
Maul is here, by the way. This is crazy. This is like surreal.
Maul's here.
Yeah,
Hi,
he
Maul.
is.
Oh, Maul got to check you, Danny.
Maul got to check me.
Yeah, you called him the Vega Vagabond.
Yo, Maul, no. I'm driving to see you about that.
You're driving to Maul's crib. That'd be a sick content piece. You going to Maul's crib after this shit.
It'd be a good skit.
Yeah. Hey, man, if I don't think Maul cares about this. I don't even think he watches my shit. The other people be tapped in. Yeah, man, this is a momentous occasion. This was like Nas confronted Tupac in that alley through the science. Anybody got questions?
So we know this is never going to end.
It's Central Park, that alley.
You didn't do the science. That was an alley.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I got a question for Rory.
What's up?
And Julian,
I do need to get out of here soon. So
yeah, so it's a quick one. So and Julian, you can answer this too. So a lot of people want to see the podcast fail. So I want to know, what are the plans for 2024 to take the pod to the next level? You guys got anything new coming up?
Joe Budden wants to see the podcast fail.
Yep, he said it many a time. So
why do y'all want to see it fail? That's like,
we did not say that.
I get why.
You didn't say that.
Not y'all in particular, just fans in general. Like, I can see why he would feel that way, because this is a personal thing between all of us. The way I see people like dedicate their happiness to wanting us to fail, or even trying to make up theories to prove we're failing, is just like, I mean, I appreciate being dedicated, but
Maul has entered the stage.
I just feel like that's not good for your rooted happiness. Like,
at some point, for some reason,
fan, just be happy that the JVP is.
Whoa,
just focus on that. Like,
no. Joe has a big audience. There's people that support. There's people who feel that you did him wrong, so they're invested in your failure.
Okay.
That's just kind of what it is.
And even though it's the same group of people who are fans of both of you guys, at some point it was divided to where you can't like Joe and like Rory and Maul. Because if you go into certain spaces, even if you are a fan of both, if you go to one space and you say, yeah, no, I don't see anything wrong with that, it's like you get killed for it, and vice versa. And it's going to continue happening, because what's going to happen after this is Joe's just going to go into a live or go to a space and say that everything you're saying is a lie.
Which is fine.
All right. Maul, would you care to speak? I never thought you would show up.
Yo, this what y'all be doing on like Wednesdays and shit?
Getting our shit off.
It's the holidays, Maul.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's what's up.
Oh wow. Well, okay, well, all right. How you doing, Maul? How's everything? How's the life?
I'm good, man. How y'all feeling? Happy holidays, man.
People have been wondering why Rory hasn't been to your house. People have been asking a lot of questions. People are advocating.
Don't say people.
We want to know, do you get on the grill every once in a while?
Y'all ever seen The Equalizer? I'm Denzel in The Equalizer, man.
I've never seen The Equalizer, but what do you think about this? How long have you been in this space? Have you gotten a chance to analyze what's going on? Or are you like, what the fuck is Spaces?
No, I know what Spaces is. This is my first time ever on the Spaces, though.
All right, so what do you think?
I mean, we've seen this before. This is Clubhouse. That's all it is.
But this clubhouse has Joe Budden in the audience, Rory on stage, you on stage, Parks is in the audience, Avon is in the stage. This is a different type of clubhouse.
Oh my God, Parks is here. Tell
Yeah.
Parks I said what's up, man.
Milestone. All right.
Danny
You're
building
disappointing
bridges.
them all.
Who?
No,
I said nice things about Parks too, and it didn't meet their expectations.
Yeah, I don't. You know,
Maul,
They want to see blood, man.
Nah, man,
Rory,
I
this
never
is
had no
like
issue with Parks, man.
when you speculate and think about how things will go, and then when everybody's in the same virtual space or whatever the case may be,
Mm.
and then you're like, well, now what? And nothing happens. This is
people
all that's gonna happen. Nothing.
People expressed that they were overworked and
Oh
underpaid.
God!
Talk about it.
Like,
Christ!
This happened like an hour
my
ago.
God!
People expressed that they were overworked and underpaid.
Maul never said that a day in his life.
He said that.
but Maul did call Joe a thief, and that's one thing that's bothered him. And I asked Rory earlier, and Maul, I mean, obviously you're here. If you want to answer. What was it that made you call him a thief? Was it the way he was acting about the expenses and the finances? Or did y'all like see like, oh shit, it's not just a 400. That was just the red flag, and we found other issues and instances of him taking money.
Yo,
Was the cat burglar wearing too many designers?
Yo, listen, you hear me? It's like this, man. We spoke about this. We've been speaking about this forever. You know what I'm saying? What happened. Our story hasn't changed at all. It's not going to change because it's the truth. But you know, I mean, it's nothing. Like I'm not on that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not still harping on that shit. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get money. Everybody have success. Everybody interview the people they want to interview. I think we just need to move forward and, you know, put all this shit behind us. But if you just look at the history, our story never changed, and that's for a reason.
Some would say it changed.
Yeah, I mean, some people will say the sky is black too. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like I don't talk to those type of people. Like we know the truth. You know the truth when you see the truth. You can feel the truth. Energy don't lie. You know, it is what it is. But success to everybody, man. Ain't nobody tripping on this side. Life is great.
I gotta get
Rock
to
is
the,
in the building.
I gotta get to the shits. There's this story that lives in the lore of the Joe Budden podcast with Rory and Maul. Somebody pulled up to the pod, apparently to fight someone. What was that about? Joe has talked about it. Joe has mentioned it. Is there any clarity to that?
Somebody pulled up where?
To the pod. Somebody pulled up to the pod with Joe Budden, Rory, and Maul, that era. And there's an allusion to it being you or Rory to see somebody and fight them or something like that. Or someplace in Uptown. Which I thought then he was talking about Maul. The story is told in a bunch of ways. Any clarity on that?
I mean, you know, that was again, man. I think that, you know, the situation you talking about was just some miscommunication shit that turned into something that it wasn't necessary. Like, you know, shit just went a little too far, but it wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing serious.
Well, I don't. I mean, it's all. I don't mind telling the story. You don't have to give the political answer.
It ain't. It's no story to tell.
Yeah, it was a group chat thing gone wrong at Joe and Sin's baby shower. I was in Atlanta, and it was a miscommunication on something that was said to my ex, which I had an issue with, and then Vern pulled up. Like I don't. This is where I'm full transparent to everything. These narratives get out of fucking control. Vern pulled up.
Vern pulled up to see you,
me,
Rory.
yes.
Story about how there was this ominous figure, Vern, who pulled up to see somebody, and
he saved Rory.
and he said we found out that day that your hands ain't really like that. Joe wasn't there.
He said, to be correct, he said your fist work wasn't about.
He wasn't there.
Yo, but this one said that. Yo, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real, right? I'm gonna keep it real. See, the thing is, this.
It's always see the thing is.
No, listen.
Girl, I guess.
This dude is. He's equipped for the type of shit that goes on now. Because you could just create shit and watch it grow legs and then sit home and be laughing at it
Yeah, he's
and
great at
watch
it,
the
man.
internet. He's great at that.
He's credit to him.
Listen. I don't fuck with dude, but I ain't no hater. He's great at that. He's great at starting fires and then sitting back and smoking a cigarette and watching everybody try to put fires out.
Word.
He's great at that. But let's just be, now that y'all was entertained by it, let's be real. It wasn't. He didn't save nobody. It wasn't. It wasn't nothing to be saved from. It was
And
a situation that happened. It was a conversation. Was it yelling? Was it screaming? Yes. Was it two men, exchanging words? Yes. But it wasn't gonna go but so far, and it almost turned into homie getting into something. You understand what I'm saying? But again, me being the common factor in it all, me being the level-headed one, I'm like, yo, just chill, relax. It's not that serious. Let's just leave. Let's go uptown. And me and him left. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not the salacious story that y'all want it to be. It's I know it's got to be entertainment, so we got to add some sentiment to it, but it's not that. It wasn't that deep.
and no Vlad Vern is about it. So if something was gonna happen, it would happen. It was not that big a deal. It was water under the bridge. And listen,
I
to
get why he ain't
tell the
shared the
full story
detergent
too.
with bruh.
Once Joe found out, I told him later. Joe came to my defense. I'm not saying he didn't do that, but like this whole, we found out you weren't even there, bro. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah, like you didn't. I mean, he made a call and he got
No, he
into it
did. I know, and
over the phone,
and
but it
shout
wasn't.
out to him for
But,
being my
by that
guy and
time,
doing that. But
me, we was already on our way uptown. We already left. So it's like it wasn't that serious, man. Like, but I get it. We got to make it entertainment. We got to.
oh, I take
I
it
get it.
back.
So
It was me, you, Vern, and Savon. Remember Savon just looking like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's just not as entertaining and enticing as people want it to be. That's all.
Yeah.
so there's no other situations that either y'all can think of that he might be able to come back and say, no, I wasn't talking about the Vern situation. I'm talking about ah.
Oh,
Nah, listen,
when he said
let
that,
me
Vern thing is the only thing I can think
let me speak for me, my nigga. It ain't no when it come to me. Like I don't know what happened when I wasn't there. If somebody pulled up when I was gone, I don't know. But I have never been in no situation or no like that's just me speaking for myself.
Yeah, the Vern thing was the only thing that came to my mind. I don't know. Maybe there was something else.
He was talking about Vern for sure. That situation was definitely about Vern because he mentioned Vern's name on the Patreon.
Man, shout out to Vern, bro.
Um,
No beef.
I don't know if you've answered this before. I may be behind. If you have, just go ahead and direct me to where you addressed it. But the narrative of you being the bad roommate, like, is there any truth to that? Was there explanation behind, like, y'all all had your own detergents, or
I wouldn't have
why?
shared none with
What's
that
with the
nigga no
narrative?
way.
I mean, again, man, we got to make it enticing. It's entertainment, right? So what happened was a girl that I was seeing at the time. She used to come over sometimes on the weekends and do what girls do: wash your clothes, clean up shit like that. So she had bought some detergent and put it in my closet. I didn't even know it was in there. So when I left, I was out of town for a few weeks. I think I was on the West Coast or something. And I guess that's when somebody went in my room and in the closet saw detergent, and then that turned into the hiding detergent thing. Like I don't even know. Like I'm saying money was taken from me, and then the response is I hide detergent. Like, like I just don't. Like I get it, but it's like I'm not hiding no detergent, fam. Like that's what it was. It was some detergent that a girl that I was dating back then she bought, and she used to just leave in the closet after she did my laundry and shit like that.
So was it that kind of living situation where detergent was a thing? Like, was there no other detergent, or y'all was good on detergent? He just saw some extra detergent and was
Yeah,
like, "This
I
nigga's
guess,
hiding detergent."
yeah, I guess niggas niggas ain't had no detergent in the laundry room and saw detergent in my room and took it as I'm hiding detergent. I didn't even know that detergent was in my closet. I'm truthfully, I didn't. I had no idea. Like once she did my clothes and put shit away. Like I didn't know where detergent and shit. Like I'm not paying. If I had to wash clothes and there ain't no detergent in the laundry room, I'm going to get some detergent.
Well, I feel like you're not taking the situation as serious as it really needs to be. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Was it tied? Was it games? Like I feel like you're kind of ducking
Nah,
the real smoke right now.
I'm a downy nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But
For
I mean,
the
you
softener
got,
too, or just
Nah,
detergent?
the scented beads. I get the downy scented
Yeah.
beads. I get the downy
That was gonna
dryer
be my
sheets.
next question.
I get the downy
Okay.
dryer
I just
Mm.
want to
sheets.
make sure, like, if it was gain, like, I mean, I guess that's for the whole crib. But
Yeah,
yeah, the downy,
I
yeah, you
think
gotta hide the downy. You have to hide the
yeah.
downy.
Tuck the
Joey.
downy. You niggas go fuck with that game. You heard?
But how do you feel about? I think this is kind of the theme we've been exploring the idea about sleepers. The detergent story is a story that is kind of lends to you being like a vegan vagabond and stuff like that, and like that. That's kind of what he's Joe's painting you as someone who lives off people, and that's what that story is about. So, how do you feel about that whole narrative?
I mean, who are these people? Like, let's bring them to the table. Ask them what they ever gave me. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, tell me. Let's talk about
Bring
it.
who?
Because if I really get to talking, you know what I'm saying? The thing is, y'all know what the truth is, man. But the lie is more entertaining. The lie is fun to laugh at, crack jokes, have captions and shit like that. Like I get it. You know what I'm saying?
They would say we don't know what the truth is.
Nah,
We just know everybody.
you know what the truth is. Y'all know what the truth is. Cause y'all
The
y'all
truth
ignore the truth. Y'all step over the truth and y'all run right to the lies.
is Joe the lies. Is that what you're saying?
Is this? First of all, I don't know if you noticed this. I don't say his name at all. Like that's something I do intentionally. Um, but yeah, I'm not trying to. It is y'all get the tapes like I get the tape. Y'all see the footage like I see the footage. Y'all know lies when y'all see
So,
lies, man. But again, the truth is the truth, and tell me what it is.
was there
Maul.
more behind the scenes that
Wait,
was
wait,
going
hold on,
on
hold on, hold on, hold on.
besides
Wait, hold on,
the?
hold on. Maul.
Go ahead.
One of Joe's talking points that he always brings up. He says, "You guys keep calling me thieves, but you never did an audit." Can you respond to that?
Yeah, we never did an audit because I don't take people to court. I was taught to stay out of the courtroom if I can. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't trying to get no lawyers and shit involved. Like, and it ain't that deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, cool. Like we know what it is. Rory and I know what it is. Like, you did what you did, cool, man. But like, don't try to create bullshit stories and narratives, man. Like, just keep it tall, my nigga. I'd rather you just keep it 100 and say, yeah, fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? I could respect that. I could shake your hand and then have a conversation with you after that. But like, come on with the lies, bro. Like just use your common sense. You think Rory
But
and I would create this whole story up, like with everything that we help build and help create? Like, we would just all of a sudden create this narrative and just like walk away from something? Like, I just don't understand what world that would make sense.
So,
Maul,
was there more
do you
behind the
think it's
scenes?
fair? Wait, hold on. Do you think it's fair to keep calling him a thief and you would never take him to court over that?
Yeah, just like you call people out on a lot of shit that you don't take them in court for. That don't mean that it ain't true. Just because you ain't in court, it's the truth. Like, I'm just not going to court about it because I really don't care enough about it. But that don't mean that it's not the truth. I'm not going to court just because I don't feel like standing in the courtroom or sitting in the courtroom and hearing people go through shit that we already know is the truth. Like, for what? Just so for y'all satisfaction? Because even if we do all that, guess what people will still say? Oh, them niggas are suckers. They took them to court. They snitches. Now I turn into a snitch. Not only now I go from a nigga that hide detergent to a snitch. Like, nah, man, for what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Enjoy that money, man. Like, again, they print that shit every day. You just gotta go get it, man. That shit ain't nothing.
So, there's two parts. I mean, part of that is because you guys haven't said specifically what it was that he stole. For some people, it's hard to understand. Like, well, you keep saying that he stole, but you're not saying what he stole or what dollar amount. And that leads me to think, was there something more behind the scenes that was going on top of the stealing that led you guys to be like, all right, I'm done with it? Obviously, there was a buildup of
Bro,
tension
we,
going
we we
on,
spoke
but
about this, man. It just got to a point where it just, again, respect, man. You start talking to grown men a certain way, you start saying certain things. It's like I can't unhear those things, man. And then you want to sit down and just bust it up and create content after that. I can't do that. I'm not equipped. That's not in my DNA to just not hear somebody talk to me a certain way or say something to me and ignore it and then be like, oh, okay, so yo, this week, yeah, so and so dropped the project. Fuck that project, nigga. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not. It was the thing that made it dope was that it was respect and it was a friendship there. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what made it so unique is that people was watching it in real time, like just the chemistry and the energy between people that had respect and the energy in a relationship with each other. Then once that's disrespected and that's you see that that's not valued or you don't value the friendship the way I do, it ain't about no show no more. Now we talking about life, bro. Like turn these cameras off. Like what we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like now it's just disrespectful and I can't. I can't operate under that because it's fake after that. You know what I'm saying? And I can't operate under fake circumstances. Like that's just not who I am. And now I know it's popular to do that now because all people care about is impressions and views and downloads and streams. Like, but that's not me, bro. Like I'd rather be solid and have a bunch of respect amongst each other and we enjoy each other and what we do. And you know what I'm saying? If that means our numbers ain't like these numbers, cool. I'm fine with that, bro. I can't do fake shit though.
Did you at any point try to sabotage the show? There's people asking me why you were always on your phone. Was that just in rebellion against what you felt Joe was doing wrongly to you in terms of business?
I mean, if I was on my phone, a lot of the times I'm looking for shit, real time that's happening on online. Maybe something that we could talk about. I might be researching something that's coming up in the conversation. It's different reasons I'm on my phone. It's not to sabotage anything. It's just real time. If somebody says something in the conversation and I have a thought, I might research some shit to see like, oh, like hold up, I never even thought about that. Like, and try to get more information on, what's being spoken about. But it's just different. It's not it was never like I would never intentionally try to sabotage anything. Now, did my energy change after certain meetings and certain conversations and things like that? Oh, naturally. Yeah, but again, it wasn't a sabotage energy though. Like I would never try to sabotage anything that I'm a part of because that's just not smart. It's counterproductive. But it was definitely a shift in energy in certain episodes, and that was because of shit going on behind the scenes that y'all don't know about, conversations that we were having, where it's just like, certain things rub you the wrong way, and it's like, what I mean? Again, I can't be fake. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't fake shit, bro. I just can't do it.
All right. I think what's interesting is I was watching the Big Loon interview you did, and there was a comment you made about like the salary, like the profit share agreement that was agreed upon, started to kind of be manicured in a way that was kind of starting to look like a salary. Can you speak to that?
I mean, that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is now. Everybody's on a salary. You know what I'm saying? So this was all part of the plan from the gate. And I respect it. Again, I understand, it is what it is, but don't paint me to be a liar when you look up now and that's exactly what it is. Everybody's salary. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when we were doing what we was doing because we built something together, it wasn't that. And then when we have a conversation and then you say, oh yeah, I'm putting y'all on salary. Putting who on salary? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't work for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that's not what this is. But again,
Well, Joe, go ahead.
it is, I respect anytime somebody has a plan for themselves and they trying to execute their plan, I respect it. But it's not gonna be at my, I'm not gonna be the casualty here. So I just politely step out the way and let you build your dream or whatever it is that you have in your head. You know what I'm saying? But I can't be a casualty of that. Like, I'm just designed different. I can't do that.
Did you ever kind of give any credence to Joe saying that salary is better than profit share? He said that.
Do you give any credence to that? You sound like an intelligent man. If you sit down to help
I
and have a hand in building and creating something, and then somebody says, "Yeah, we're gonna put you on a salary," how do you feel about that?
I've never bought into that.
Oh, okay,
I've
cool.
never
Then so we
bought
on the
into that.
same page with that.
I mean, but Joe on the Math Hoffa interview did try to present it as if salary was a
Of
better
course, you got
option.
to present things to make it look like you know what I'm saying, you was in the right. That's what you're supposed to do. It's lawyers that will get on in front of the jury and defend a killer that they know killed somebody. Like they'll defend it. Like, yeah, you know that they only doing what they supposed to do. They was hired to do that. But we all know, like, come on, fam. You up here defending a killer. You up here defending a pedophile. You up here defending whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has a defense team. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, when you really look at it, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Slick.
So is there confusion or misunderstanding in when you're considered, being a profit partner or having a share of the profit and the amount of control or say you have in the show? And if correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like y'all went into this as like friends, everything was cool, like that's my homie. Then you start getting into finding success and getting more money, and then that's when it splits from it being a friendship and not being understood as, oh, now it's business, and Joe's acting and talking and moving like the boss, and y'all are having an understanding of, hey, we're doing this as friends, we're making decisions together and doing it together as friends. But he's going more so in the, no, this is the Joe Budden podcast, not the I'll name this podcast later.
Again,
I don't know if I was clear with that.
all of that is ego you talking about. You could feel like that, cool. I'm not here to wrestle with nobody in their ego. You know what I'm saying? Cool. That's how you feel, great. I politely step aside and let you do whatever it is that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But contractually, what we signed and agreed upon is totally different from whatever it is that you're saying now. And that's where the problem came in. You know what I'm saying?
So contractually, you guys had or should have had more control and more say so than what he was
It wasn't about
allowing
control or
yourself.
say so. It was about this is our business together. You know what I'm saying? This is what the contract says. We get a percentage of everything. You know what I mean? Like it's percentage. But now when you look up and you start feeling like, yo, this is some salary shit going on here. Like I'm not, I don't work for you. Like, hold on, like we need to see these papers. You need to see this. You know what I mean? These taxes, and we need to see this accounting and what went out here, because we standing behind that, because again, we're paying taxes on this money that's coming in. See, we business partners when it comes to paying these taxes, but we're not business partners when it comes to getting paid. That don't make sense, bro. Like, what are we talking about? We just talking about, this is business we talking about. Like, friendship aside, we just talking about business. You know what I'm saying? Some niggas do great business, don't have no contracts amongst each other because they have their word and they stand on it. You know what I'm saying? Cool. We had actual contract though, so that we didn't have to have these conversations. But then when somebody isn't honoring the contract, then you have to have a conversation like, yo, like we got to fix this. This ain't right. Again, this is years of us trying to fix it. It's not like this didn't happen all in 48 hours. This was a couple years of us trying to fix this and get the business right. You know what I'm saying? But again, sometimes things are so far gone where it can't be fixed, and that's fine. Like, I think people need to understand that that's fine too. It's okay to outgrow people and outgrow situations and go another way. And you know, again, all of this happened, and people I met as a result of this. I've gained new friends. I've gained new business partners. I've met people from all around the world, and sold out shows in London, and it's a lot of positive that comes from that. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, something that we had that was dope, had to come to an end. But they seem to be having some pretty good moments over there right now, which and since we left, they had some pretty good moments, which is dope too. Because again, I'm not a hater. I just can't be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. Niggas know where I stand. You know what I'm saying? It's always right is right, wrong is wrong. I don't care. I don't do social politicking. Like, I don't care who you are, what you have. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And if you're right, I'm gonna say you're right.
Would
Well,
you have
you are.
signed the contract if it was written out that you were receiving a salary and
Hell
and
no.
an employee off rip?
Hell no.
Let's get to it. Joe hinted that you didn't have a lawyer when you signed the contract, the initial one.
Joe hinted that I didn't have a lawyer.
I asked him if you had a lawyer when you signed the contract because he seemed to hint in a conversation that you may not have had a lawyer,
Mm.
and he didn't want to answer, and he kind of made it seem like you didn't have a lawyer.
Oh, he didn't want to answer. Oh, that's convenient. Yeah. I mean, again, bro, contracts were signed, things was agreed upon, lawyers were present, lawyers was on emails, managers was on emails. Whatever story is being said after all of that, I don't know, but again, the facts are the facts, man. And the crazy thing about it is, I don't know if Rory remember this, but the lawyer told us, like, this is y'all are getting like this percentage that y'all agreeing on is crazy. Like the lawyer said that, and she was like, I'm just letting y'all know that this is crazy. Like y'all shouldn't be in agreement to this, but I understand that y'all have a relationship. So again, we took a backseat to a lot from the gate, but then it's like enough is enough, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dog. Like, you don't want us getting no money from the YouTube because you started this as your rap channel. It's not
Joe
that no
said
more,
that
though.
Joe said that y'all did not deserve a single cent off the YouTube, and Rory seemed to agree.
Well, we both agreed, obviously, because we still went forward into the business. But that's not crazy to you, though, because we can go. Because here's the thing: when you say somebody doesn't deserve, first of all, who are you to say that? Number one, because again, now we to this ego shit. For you to even say that, y'all don't deserve. Okay, cool. You started this as something else, but something else came and enhanced that, and we can backtrack that, and we can actually see the money that comes in as a result of this new thing. All of this can be tracked on the channel. So I'm not asking for nothing from the other thing. That's cool. But from this thing though, from these uploads and these videos, you understand what I'm saying? Because this is not the same audience. That we know for a fact. This isn't the same audience now. You know what I mean? So it's like, what are we talking about? And again, but a lot of it is, again, ego, and that's just men. We put men in the room, ego is gonna be present. You know what I'm saying? Cool, understand that, but as friends, it's like, damn, homie, there's certain shit you can't say to your friends. You can still have an ego, but you can't say certain shit to the homies, though. To the homies, there's certain shit you can't say, man.
It seems.
Quick question,
Go
Maul.
ahead.
Can I ask a question,
Just ask it.
Maul?
Yo,
Oh yeah, respectfully. First, I want to lead with respect, and I just want to bring up something in regards to what you just said in regards to the initial contract signing and the young lady lawyer telling you that it was a bad deal and you were getting the short end of the percentage. Um, at that time, did you and Rory have the same lawyer? And with that being said, if you did, if you had taken it to another lawyer, do you think you would have still signed the contract knowing that you were getting the short end of the percentage?
yeah, it was the same lawyer. We still have the same lawyer. Um, and if I'd taken it to another lawyer, would I still? Honestly, I probably would have. Only because, again, it was, back then when we were sitting down talking about everything, it was all always about the bigger picture of what we represented, what we was doing in the space of podcasting. It wasn't so I wouldn't have, if I didn't, that would have came across a little selfish. You know what I'm saying? And I like to be more selfless than selfish. So if I didn't, it would have came across a little selfish, like I felt entitled to something. My thing was always, damn, I'm already taking less than I probably should, and now I'm still getting fucked. Like, it's like, well, damn, how much you want to fuck me, my nigga? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I respect that, and I understand your selflessness. But again, by having separate representation, you would have someone that has your best interest at heart, and they would advise against it.
Oh no,
They would just
I think when you're saying lawyers, obviously I have enough legal representation available to me where I sent that to a few people, and
okay,
they all
okay.
agreed that yeah, no, this is definitely a low number that y'all are agreeing to. But again, it comes down to your relationship and what you think is best,
Uh,
you know, for the business moving forward, building it. Because you can get, you know, again, you can get 50% of a grape, or you can get 20% of a watermelon. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you look at it like that, it's like, okay, cool, building something. We think we have the opportunity to do something special here. I don't want a percentage agreement that we know is low, or something that we know we probably getting fucked on, to stop that from happening. And I think that's where we
it
landed.
It isn't it on the onus of the person during the negotiations to get what they want. For instance, the 20% of the 50% of the grape versus 20% of the watermelon. I mean, if you agree to the 50% of the grape and you get it, and you see somebody with a watermelon
But we
later,
didn't though, and that's what I think people are missing. We didn't, and when we started noticing that, what we asked for was just to see the numbers, because that's something that we entitled to as business partners. That's just the bottom line. You got to see the
yeah,
numbers. I
yeah.
don't know what I'm being paid if I don't see the numbers. And then when you tell me something like, "Oh, you got a calculator, right?" See, it's a lot of things that was said that if y'all knew me a little better and where I come from and how I handled it, niggas would respect it more. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I really had a lot of grace and a lot of like respect, and a lot of like, I took a lot of shit on the chin and just ignored it and moved forward. But there was a lot of disrespect present. You know what I'm saying? And as men, you know, as all men in here, as when we get a certain age, disrespect comes with bigger consequences. It's not like we kids in the schoolyard no more. You start disrespecting grown men, there's other consequences that can come with that. So before it goes there, because I know consequences and how heavy consequences are as adults, I'll leave. I'll walk away, because it's just not worth it at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, all right, cool. I peep game, I see what it is. Either we gonna correct it or not. We not gonna correct it, cool, I'm out.
Would you say that the moment Joe told you that you don't have to respect your friends, that may have been like the final straw between y'all friendship?
Nah, the final straw for me was was probably before that. That
Before that,
Yeah,
okay.
that wasn't the final straw. That was the napkin underneath the drink right there. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I had checked out way before that.
Did you check out before you guys tried to do the reconciliation episode, or I mean, I guess
Yeah,
that's what you're saying. You checked out before then, right?
yeah. I probably, like, looking back, I probably checked out before then. I probably checked out the conversation that we had when Rory was told not to show up for a couple weeks, and then I went to the studio and we had a conversation. I think that conversation was, I heard enough in that conversation that was it for me.
So when he told you it was none of your business, that was the straw, pretty much,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
possibly.
because at that point it was like, I always knew that's how he felt. He just finally said it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, oh, okay, there it goes. So I don't need to see accountant at this point. You know what I'm saying? So that was that. I had checked that. I only returned after that for a meeting and talk because of Rory, and you know talking to my brothers and shit like that. But that was the only reason I came back after that. Like, I was done after that.
I'm glad to hear that you got more eyes than one on the contract before
Oh, come on,
agreeing
man.
to it.
Come on, man.
I understand your selflessness,
I
but
ain't know.
I'm
I'm
just
not.
saying when I bring it up, people act like it's odd.
Yeah,
So
no. I listen. I ain't, trust me. It's enough people around me that have my best interest in hand that I never move without crossing all my T's first. You know what I'm saying? Anything if I'm moving on something, that's because it's been filtered through enough eyes and ears that I've gotten the green light to just go ahead and move forward on it.
Let's get to the narrative. There's this narrative floating that Rory was like kind of the factor that got you to switch sides on Joe, and that I know it's like a movie, but you betrayed Joe for Rory. What do you say to that?
I mean, again, people gonna believe what they feel is more entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't the truth. Like, it was right and wrong. I always want to land on the side of right. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'm gonna be wrong. In this situation, I'm not, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always want to land on the right side of whatever it is. And that's not odd. Like, again, just the outside, like, that wouldn't strike a chord and saying, damn, like, him and Homie had more history than him and Rory, but he still went with that. Don't make it like, so obviously it must be something, it must be a reason for that. But y'all turn it into sabotage and all this other weird shit. It's like, no, that's just on the side it was right. And again, like, I'm not peace, love, success to everybody. I want everybody to do their thing, whatever it is. I'm not upset, bitter, mad. I'm crazy. It's crazy that we still even talking about this shit, but whatever. But it is what it is. And I think what Rory and myself have been able to do, and the experiences that we've been able to create, and the people that we've been able to work with, everything happens for a reason, man. And I'm not mad at nothing. Like, the way it happened, I think it was supposed to happen that way. I feel like people on that side got what they want. You know what I'm saying? I got what I want: peace of mind, honesty, loyalty. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all the money will come. I'm never worried about the money. That shit is not, you know what I'm saying? Anybody that really has money, they'll tell you the money, you just do what you do. Put the work in and have good intentions doing it, and that shit it'll find you. So it's never about the dollar sign. It's like, yo, what we doing? Are we having fun doing this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, traveling the world and, you know, putting a goal in front of us and reaching that goal. Like, that's what it's about. So as long as everybody's doing that in their respective corners, I think it's a win for everybody, man.
Can I ask a question pertaining to the respective corners that you just made mention of?
Yeah.
On the last podcast you guys had, Ian Dunlap has been trying to facilitate a podcast kumbaya of sorts, where he would like to get everybody on the same page and possibly be willing to work with one another for a common goal.
Yeah.
Would you be opposed to that, or would you be on board with that, contingent upon who's involved?
A contingent upon who's involved. But yeah,
That says enough.
yeah, I'm always
Okay.
I'm always for anything that's gonna be a great look for the, for us. You know what I'm saying? When I say us, I mean my people. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's trying to have an idea, create it, and put it out to the world. I'm always down to, help push that in any way I can. But also contingent upon who's involved. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm not stupid. You know what I'm saying? You burn me once, you ain't gonna double back for the burn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna be standing there when you come back, nigga. I ain't stupid now.
Are you having fun
Robe had a
now?
question, it looked
Oh,
like.
go ahead. Romani, question?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, real quick. Y'all got like super serious, so I was trying to add some levity to the situation. Um, this is the question for Rory and Maul. Did y'all ever get to the bottom of the gambling thing? Because initially I thought it was a skit, and then I saw a lot of people, like, I don't know if it's regional, but like run it back and double it back mean two entirely different things. Did y'all get to the bottom of that?
Of the gambling?
Yeah, like so.
I,
I
Double or
can't
I think
remember
nothing?
he's
what
talking
happened
about
was.
double or nothing. I think he's
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
the double or nothing argument.
Because I feel like not a shot at Maul. I feel like Maul had it messed up in the beginning, but by the time y'all got the triple back, I feel like Joe put an exponent in there, and I'm like, yo, like what the fuck? Like now I'm confused. So I started asking my homies like from different like regions, and we kind of came to like if you bet $100 and we say double back or double it back or whatever, if I win again, I still get 200. And I think that's where initially Maul was like, nah, this is just 100. But then on the triple it up, which would have been 600, I think Joe said 9. And I was like, yo, now I'm confused.
Well,
Well,
now we in the same boat of being confused when it comes to numbers with that dude.
exactly. I was gonna say running back is the same bet ran back. Double or
Right.
nothing is a double that bet, and triple is new territory. I think that was double talk.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think just the words and was taken differently, and it's interesting because I do know for a fact that people from different parts of the country and different cities they the way that they say certain things when it comes to gambling, it is a difference. I've ran into that, like, okay, so this is what y'all say, like, all right, I got it, like, so that does happen. It wasn't just that situation. That's a real thing that does happen. But that math that you told about in particular was just, again, we it just is what it is, man.
Hey,
All
Mark, how
good.
close were you and Joe before the podcast? Like immediately before you got the call or whatever happened that got you on the show? How close or how strained was y'all's relationship to begin with?
You said what when we did what?
How
How
close were you guys before the relationship happened? I don't know if my audio's messed up.
How
nah.
close were we before the relationship happened? What do you
Can I add to this?
Go ahead.
So episode 437, Joe alludes to you abandoning him previous to the pod. Like there was some type of time where you guys were friends and then you left or something like that. And I think Slick is talking about how close were you two before you started doing the pod again? Because it seems like there's some type of history that y'all had, and then y'all distanced yourselves from each other, and then y'all got back together for the pod, and then the fallout happened.
Oh, I mean, well, that type of shit you talking about is, again, it's just what was a friendship, and things happening in a friendship where you recognize, like, okay, I gotta do something else because my situation here is not really benefiting me. Like, I gotta go do what I gotta do. But it wasn't like a fuck you type of thing. It was just more so like, oh, like, I can't. Well, what I thought we was doing together, we're not. Oh, okay, well, I gotta go do something. Like, I can't just, like, this isn't working. You know what I'm saying? And that was a more so personal thing. Like, at the time we was I was trying to do things with him on a personal side and help to contribute to keep some money flowing in wherever I could. Like, and I think we kind of addressed that on a few episodes. Like, I would bring some shit to the table, whether it be little features with local artists and little walkthrough. Back when walkthroughs was a thing, try to brought a few of that to a few of those things to the table. But then even in that, it was confusion, or, well, not confusion. It was an issue with the money that I would be making from that. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm not going to really be, I got to go do something. I got to make money. And at that time, I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. But as we all know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So that's what it was. It wasn't like a fuck you, we ain't cool. It was more so like, all right, fam, like, we not agreeing upon the business here, or what I mean, you don't want me to make this money here. Well, I got to go make money somewhere. Like, so I'm gonna just go do what I know, and that's what that was. But it wasn't on my end. It wasn't a fuck you. It wasn't a we ain't cool. It was a, like, grown men shit. Like, I gotta go get in the field. I gotta go, let me strap my boots up, my nigga. Like, that's all it was.
Got it.
Can I jump in real quick?
Go
My
ahead.
bad, I had to get sent down. I ain't mean to turn that into something, whatever it turned into before. My bad.
Hey, y'all niggas don't got no friends that y'all don't have to speak to every day, and y'all still cool.
I'm
You
old
don't
now.
have to speak every day, bro. I'm 46 years old, my guy.
Oh,
So
okay. No,
with
I'm just
respect,
checking. I'm
we're
just checking the
no,
temperature of the
we're
room, like, cause I don't really
with
like speaking.
respect to the conversation.
Why do you
They
say
made
this?
it a New York
Why?
thing.
You guys were the best podcast ever. People still care,
No,
Maul. People are willing
No,
to
I'm
listen.
not.
yeah.
No. I'm not saying. I'm not saying in regards to that. I'm just asking a question about away from that about dudes being friends.
No,
Like
Oh, okay, got
pause,
it.
we
right?
could we cannot speak. We cannot speak every day, and I cannot speak to some of my best friends. I don't speak to for 2-3 months at a time. And
That's a fact.
soon as we speak again, it's like we just saw each other last night.
Yeah.
Pick up right where you left off. I think
It's
the
it wasn't
question was,
it wasn't no beef. It's not no. It ain't beef, man. Like I don't
I
have.
think the thing is, y'all started the pod in 2015. So if Rory has never been to your crib since 2015, and y'all still got the relationship going now,
We're talking about Joe,
Joe.
not Roy.
No, I never thought about Joe. I'm talking about the relationship he has currently with
yeah.
Rory.
I thought he was talking about the shit that I mentioned with Joe. I think our wires are crossed. Um, what would you say to people who believe that you may not take podcasting seriously, even now with Rory and Maul, in terms of kind of the subjects you talk about? You just had a recent blow up with Eden about the clickbait and talking about salacious topics. What would you say to that?
What would I say to it? I mean, I take podcasting serious. I show up every day. You know what I mean? I think I bring positive energy into the room, any room I step in, especially the room with my team. Like I don't bring no negative shit in there. I just don't with as far as the content clickbait shit with Eden, I think that was more so just a sign of the age difference, like between Eden and myself in particular. Like younger cats, they chase the salacious shit and all of that. Me being the age I am, I think it's nasty when dudes my age do that shit. And I understand, even just the context of that conversation. Eden says, "Yeah, I just love to pay my bills," and it's like, okay, I respect that because that's honest and that's how you feel. But you can also pay your bills with some integrity too, though. And I think that's the side that I stand on. Like, I don't really care about a lot of the shit that the internet cares about, who fucking who and who said what and who did it. I don't really care about. Like, I didn't know who Biggie was fucking or who Pac was fucking or who. I never cared about that shit.
I don't know about that. That's why I fucked your bitch. Remember that?
We knew Faith and Charlie Baltimore, man.
Yeah,
And Lil
but
Kim.
did
That was a,
but did
come
that
on, man.
affect?
Now wait a
But
minute.
did that affect the way you felt about them?
They definitely
I thought
interacted.
Biggie was the man. I thought
If any
Biggie
of
was the
y'all
guy.
niggas sit on here and say it affected how y'all felt about Biggie because he was fucking with Faith, y'all lying, bro. Nobody
No, I
nobody
thought he was
cares.
the man.
Nobody
No,
Definitely
cares
would be
about that
lying.
shit, man.
when
Nobody
Tupac
cares. Like,
when Tupac said he slept with Faith, that definitely changed things.
well, that was different. That was different because it was a beef at the time. So that's the dynamic of that was different. Like, so we understand that, but it's just again, the whole, I like the clickbait shit. Cool, you can like. I don't like that. I never read the National Enquirer growing up. I used to see that shit on the checkout at the grocery store. I used to walk right past that shit and go get the Word Up magazine.
All right,
That's
so
a
yo,
fact.
real quick, this would be the perfect time for me to ask this question because he just mentioned clickbait. So, Maul, nothing. I've been a supporter for so long, right? I've been a supporter for so long. I like what y'all. I'm glad you and Rory landed on y'all feet because we know Joe already came in with the platform and had the numbers. I know y'all boosted him, but at least he had the name already, right? So I hear you mention a lot. You a stand up nigga. You ain't on that sucker shit. So I'm curious to know, like, from your own opinion, like, how were you always under people's posts, liking posts in regards to that dude? You you sub, what I mean, you send the subliminal tweets and stuff, and then you say you don't do it. Like we all see it. So I'm curious, like, why do you still do it? I'm 43. My man down there said he's 46. I know you in your 40s. Like, why do you do it?
Why do I do what? My shit was going there now. I'm sorry.
So he's talking about, let's say, situations where you seem to like post bashing Joe, like when Tax started those tweets saying those things about Joe. When Drake was trashing Joe, you always seem to like them or comment or put emojis.
I can't laugh.
But it just seems strategic.
No, it seems strategic because that's all y'all see. When I laugh at a whole bunch of other shit that y'all don't care about or that y'all not paying attention to, y'all don't speak on that. But when
Got
it's
it.
the shit,
But you
when it's
don't
the
deem
shit,
that to be sucker shit. Like you don't deem that to be sucker shit.
Yeah,
You
that isn't
like
that the third
nah,
thing?
it ain't no suck. It's not sucker shit if I'm laughing.